guy. Hello, Southwest Florida. Welcome to Lee Pitts Live. We are here at the African Coalition of Southwest Florida's annual holiday party, and it's really shaping up to be a fine affair. Lee Pitts Live is happy to be the media sponsor. As you can hear in the background, some Caribbean and African music, and of course you hear some traditional American music, but it's all from the rhythms of the continent. We will get to that and a lot of other things as we cover tonight. But right now we have a noted professor who's always so gracious to come on our red carpet. That would be one Professor Lodovic Kimble, who has finally penned a book. Perfect. And I know everybody has been waiting on the professor to start to pontificate some of those things that are in his head. He's written a lot of papers and articles and commentaries, and he's a social media guru now. That technology came into existence just in time when he was at the zenith of his intellectual discussion. The title of the book is The Kimble Family Summer Vacation on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. So you have to be a person who's into jazz and swing type music from that era of the roaring 40s and 50s, and that was a popular song. You get your kick on Route 66, but it's been remade in all different facets. But every time you hear it, it's certainly a nice song. Lodovic, it's certain people who would listen to that kind of music that me and you were talking about, right. So they wouldn't get that, Ella Fitzgerald and all these people doing right. It, Sarah Vaughan and so on. But do you is that name kind of had something to do with that song?
Well, not really.
Yeah, but I'm sure more people have repeated that to you when they saw Route 66.
They have, but the story is about the fact that my family traveled to St. Louis and to Villa Ridge, Missouri on Route 66 every summer.
Okay.
The destination was Villa Ridge, but we would stop in St. Louis, visit family, go to the museums, to the zoos. I don't know if you know, St. Louis has some of the best museums, like you find in Cleveland and you find in D.C.
Okay.
We went to the zoos and go skating and all that kind of stuff in town. Then we would hit Route 66, headed to Villa Ridge, Missouri. On the way, we stop at Merrimack Cabin, Jesse James Hideout. We go to Six Flags. We got off at this main road with this old restaurant called The Diamond. We could not go inside. You could go to the window and order. Those were the days when black folks had to go through the back door. You could not go inside.
Okay, so let me slow you down. When you say the family, you are talking about when you were a child.
I'm a child.
Right. So
That's
I don't want
right
people
there.
to think, right. I don't want people to think that this is when you were a father, because you can still have applied as the family. So now it's making sense, especially when you start talking about the segregation and the racism that you were experiencing. So let's say this, I haven't gotten into the book yet, but this would put you at what age right around here?
I'm 17.
Okay. And this is all your siblings and everything?
7 of us in there, but you can't see everybody's head. In fact, some of them complain.
This is cool.
You can't see me.
This
the
is
artist
so cool.
told me that I cannot make all y'all show up. Some of us in the back of the head. If I do that, the artist will look crazy.
Uh-huh.
Now, the artists, the illustrations was really important about the book, illustrated by Arthur Dawson.
Okay.
Well-known illustrator and artist.
Okay.
Now, each one of those illustrations are very expensive. Each one costs $444.
Okay.
I spent a lot of money on the illustration.
Okay.
Sad thing, when the book came out last week, I called him and he'd been dead for 3 months.
Really?
Brother had a heart attack and died. Never got a chance to see it.
Man.
I may have been his last project.
See the
And we fought to get
arch
this done.
in St. Louis.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful arch to see in person, isn't it?
I was there
When I
on
saw it
opening
in
day at
person,
age
I was
9.
like, oh my God, that thing is nice and shiny.
I was there on the opening day at age 9.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
This is my dad's hometown.
Oh, that's what I was getting ready to get to. This is your dad's hometown.
Uh-huh.
And you guys will be traveling Route 66. Is that north and south?
Travel 24
Route 66.
from Tennessee to St. Louis, and then we hit Route 66 going to Villa Ridge.
That would be, I think Route 66, it runs east and west. I think the even numbers run.
It runs from
east and
Chicago
west.
to California. Route 66 was a highway designed for a route from Chicago to California.
Okay.
And Route 66 used to have
Wow, man, this
all
looks
kind of
interesting.
places you could stop and things, but no, they were not open to African Americans. We stopped, you had to go through the back door. You stop at a gas station, they wouldn't let you use the restroom. So my parents carried a stack of food, and I thought we were having fun. So my sister says, you ought to write a story about the fun we had. I called my mother, she says, fun, it was by design.
Wow.
Your daddy was not taking you through the back door, so we carried our food. If you notice, we only travel during the day, because you get caught on the road at night, you may get lynched. And we wasn't stopping in a sundown town.
Boy, you got some stories here. So the book itself kind of it's a family
historical.
book.
Yep.
It's a historic book.
Right.
And you work in a whole lot of things that were going on at that time. Just tell me, how did the whole concept of doing this book, which already sounds like a bestseller to me, and it sounds like something that would be really educational for children. When I look at the illustrations and things of that nature, just so well done, just prima facie. Tell me about the concept of you saying, this is the type of book I want to do right
Well,
now.
my sister, who's a lawyer, and a brother, who's an artist, the three of us were hanging out and talking about our childhood experiences. And she says, we need to tell that story. So I decided that at retirement, I would tell that story.
Okay.
Then the Green Book came out. And
Okay.
when I saw the Green Book, I realized we traveled during the time of the Green Book, and that my parents did all those things that the Green Book told you to avoid it.
The movie The Green Book, make sure you see that. Go
Then when I
ahead.
called my mother, she didn't know about the Green Book. She never heard of it.
Okay.
They knew what to do without the Green Book, but the Green Book was a travel guide for African Americans that told you what restaurants were safe, what hotels were safe, where could you get gas, what towns do not stop in at night,
Right.
such as Springfield, Missouri, where they did lynch African people.
Yeah, so black people back then, they had a directory, what you would call a green book, and it allowed you to move around in the country and know how to plan your routes and what hotels will allow you to stay there, what restaurants and everything. It's a fascinating book, and was made into a movie.
Right.
So, man, that is a great concept. Okay, so then you get that idea, and instead of you writing one of your heavy professor type deep books like Slavery by Any Means and something like that, you took something that's people could easily digest and comprehend. I love that
children
concept.
to be able to read
Yes.
the book and understand it, because I could have wrote it at another level. I wrote it at a level that anybody can read the book.
That is the beauty. And of course, that's the beauty of one of our favorite people, Malcolm X. He was able to speak and reach in a language that everybody could understand.
Right, right.
So you took staking, you took detail into making sure the types of words that you chose to use, that the average person could understand what those words
Well,
meant as well, because you got that big thesaurus, the thesaurus in your head.
You don't know how many people proofed that. Frank and Roy looked at it.
Okay.
Donald and Hyacinth looked at it. Benjamin and Gigi looked at it. Corbina and Elizabeth looked at it. I had a lot of people proof the book, tell me what they thought about it, suggest changes and stuff until we got where we wanted to go. Last is my wife, who looked at it, and still I overlooked something.
Okay.
The part where we're running through the park, I name all children and leave out my brother Warren, my closest brother who's an artist. My mother called me and said, you didn't put Warren's name in there.
Wow.
But what I did, let me show you, pull the book up for a minute. I said, Mother, but that's Warren right there. Mm-hmm. And back here I list his name,
Okay.
but I forgot to do it up
Yeah,
front.
you got to do it in the book too, though.
And then I would love to have had 2 more illustrations, but I would have to give him another $800 for 2 more.
Hey, you got to pay for what you get, man. But
$11,000 for those illustrations.
now, where can people get your book?
Amazon.
Okay.
It's on there right now.
Got your
I talked to
barcodes and
Yeah, I
everything.
talked to my sister today. She got hers today. And that picture on that page where there should have been an illustration of my grandmother, she had a picture of the grandmother and she put it in the book. She told me she
Outstanding.
did that today.
I want people to see some of these illustrations. It's just some nice illustrations. It looks like y'all went to Six Flags right here. Six Flags over Georgia. Talk about that.
Well, what Six
Six-
Flags is similar to what Disney World here in Florida.
Right, in Atlanta.
And all over the United States, there was Six Flags before there was a Disney World.
What, at that time, did you come across any problems with being black?
That's
In
the
Georgia.
positive thing, is that I was able to tell this story We never had any racist conflicts because the way Dad planned to travel was to make sure we avoided all the racist conflict.
What would your dad think of this book? I'm just assuming you didn't.
Well, my dad
talk about
died
him
before
as
he
being
got a
alive,
chance
right?
to see it in March. My father would be happy. As my mother is now. My mother's grinning all over. My father would be grinning all over, happy about the fact that I wrote a book. I mentioned his name in the book. I called every family, and not only that, I called the names of his brothers and sisters' children who we all hung out with. Because what we would do, we would end it at my grandmother's farm for a week or two. All my father's brothers and sisters would come and bring their children. It'd be 30 people on the farm sleeping in barns and tents and everywhere. The farm was so big we could hunt there, we could fish there, they grew crops, we fed animals, we did everything on the farm.
How would your son, Ray John, who's very astute, how would he think about this?
Rajan's quite impressed with the
Ray
book.
John, yes, I remembered your name, bro.
Let me tell you what he did, though. When I sent him the cover, he started telling me how I should change it.
Okay,
I didn't send it for you to give to critique.
Everybody,
me and the artist have decided what the cover should look like, and the cover is as it is. Oh, he and his wife were critical. They didn't like the green letters and.
Lodovic, if you have to get the proof of everybody, you'll never get the book.
Book will never get published.
You'll never, man. You'll never get. I know that for a fact, man. You know that whole thing about a horse and a camel, right?
That's right.
A camel with all the humps on the back and all of that was supposed to be a horse, but you try to satisfy everybody. So somebody wanted a hump on the back, and then somebody else wanted a hump, and you end up having two humps. It was supposed to be a streamlined horse.
Right.
And then somebody else said the legs should be longer, then you get the long legs. Somebody else said the neck should be longer. After a while, you mess up a horse and you got a camel because you try to satisfy everybody, and the camel just lumbered through when you had a nice little streamlined horse can just speed.
That's right.
So you can't satisfy everybody,
No,
man.
you can't.
That's my whole approach to life. I just go and do stuff pretty much on my own. That way I can get it done. If I try to satisfy everybody, and then you can just take the little. But I'm sure Ray John meant it in a constructive way.
Oh, he did.
He just wanted Dad best for Dad.
Want to make sure the book is best.
Yeah, I got Ray John. He's an intellectual dude coming from you.
He's doing real well too.
And then you hit a lot of your consciousness and everything came from your parents, but in a different way.
Yes.
They were conscious,
I'm more
but
educated than they
that's
are.
correct.
Right.
Talk about that.
Well, father had no high school diploma.
Right.
But my father was the first in a lot of things. Excuse me, I'm coughing.
Keep that mic close to your mouth.
Okay. My father.
Keep that mic close to your mouth.
My father. I don't want to cough into the mic. My father was the first African American manager for BMW's cafeteria. That's before Marston's and BMW. I mean Marston's cafeteria. That's in 1965. Then he became the first black manager for Shoney's. Then he went on to Vanderbilt as a dietitian. He retired as head of food operation at Barnes Hospital, Washington University.
Wow.
He had no high school diploma.
Maximize but he still was able to maximize what he was able to do.
Because everybody thought he had a high school diploma.
But you made a good point, and you said it real quickly. I said, were they as conscious as you, and then you go quickly. Yes, but they weren't educated like me.
Right.
That's the same way my parents were,
Right.
especially my mom. So they couldn't, pass it down to you in that way. You take what you got, and then you built upon that with your education and your reading.
Well, our parents, and I can speak to both of us, gave us the wherewithal to
Right.
be where we are.
Right.
Told us we could be better. We internalized that we could be better, and we struggled to be that. And we were not going to let anybody hold us back.
And they gave us the nuggets on how to function in society,
That's right.
Because we kind of knew what was around the corner. We knew what we could move, how we could move, and get where we needed to get. I mean, that's so important. Even to this day, you need to know how to move, where you can move, and how to get where you can get, and then help somebody else along
You need
the
to
way.
know when to hold them and when to fold them.
Yeah, that's the short version of it, right?
George Dean taught me that.
Know when to hold
When
them,
to
when to
hold them
fold.
and when to fold them.
And then, of course, when you hit that college campus, so this book doesn't get into college, but you were in high school at the time.
I
think you said you were
also
17.
elementary through high school, but at the time I tell the story, I was 17.
Okay. Is this one snapshot of a period, like a 1 year? Or you go through some various years in your book?
Various years covered everything that we did.
Okay. What has been the response? I know you talked about some people reviewed the book, but what has been response from some people who actually just purchased the book and read it, people you know who might have read the book? What's their feedback?
Great response. My wife's job, the females on her job demanded to be the first to have one. I had 11 copies. Complimentary, gonna send the family.
Well, I think I got enough money to buy one to tonight. So
So he wanted to. So
you're supposed to say, Lee, you can have one for free autograph, but I'm going to
I will
patronize
get
your
you one.
business.
Don't do that. Worry about that.
I
I'll get you
want to
one.
buy one though.
But so I went to her job and sold 6 the first day,
Okay.
and I was going to send those out complimentary. I called my brothers and sisters.
I want this for my son though.
I called my brothers and sisters and told them I'm sending all of you complimentary books. My youngest sister said, "Don't do that. You
Right.
make your money by it.
Yeah.
Let them buy it."
Yes,
She says, "I've
yes.
already ordered it and I have mine."
Yes, that's correct.
So she talked me out.
That's
of
the way
doing
that works. Same thing when I put out that Learn to Swim DVD. I was giving them to people. You remember those swim lessons? And then people start saying, hey, you need to, it's a business. You got to run it like a business. Luckily, back then, I didn't have the internet like they got now, but the internet did come, and I still people can get that product on the social media now.
Right.
But I'm telling you, back then it was hard just getting exposure for a product.
Yes, it was.
So you lucky in that way. And Amazon and all that didn't exist back then.
Yes.
So when they go on Amazon, they just type in what?
Go to Amazon and just put in the title of the book.
The Kimble Family Summer Vacation on Route 66. I love it, man. That was a little bit of time in putting the title together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought
like
about it,
numerous
what title I wanted to use, and then the title had to reflect what the story is, so that's the story.
Okay.
And I settled for that title because that's the story.
What part of the book to you is the most revealing, or you hadn't thought about it as much, or the most interesting part that people might find?
The travel from Nashville to St. Louis,
Okay.
and how we had to travel during the day, how we couldn't stop at a restaurant to eat. We had to go other places. How we had to be cautious of where we bought gas, people we talked to. That was the trying part, and the fact that my parents were smart enough not to tell kids that we're avoiding racism, but
Wow.
to protect us from it by knowing where to stop, where to go.
Isn't that cool?
So we wouldn't have those negative experiences. Now, coming soon is the second book
Okay.
called Letters to a Teacher.
Okay.
I've collected letters from college students.
All these
public
kids have
school
written you
teachers
over the years?
40 years. And Roy and Frankie, they proved that too.
Okay.
So in the next year or so, I'll be publishing Letters to a Teacher.
Man, that's great, man. Well, you guys heard it right here. The professor has a book out. Go to Amazon, patronize the professor, spend money. We need to support our black authors, our black writers, scholars, and we also need to continue to educate ourselves. And from every account, it sounds like this is a nice paperback page turner, and you can walk away with it with a lot of information in a manner that everybody can understand. And I'm assuming you're gonna probably get it in libraries and everything else. And I'll talk to you about that off air on how to get it in libraries.
Right.
Because my DVD is in libraries all over the world.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna get some more African. Let's mention the African Coalition of Southwest Florida.
Right.
We're here at their gala. You come every year. Tell me why you felt it was
And
important.
I got
you come.
African art today too.
Yeah. Why?
I have it out there.
Yeah, I think it's out there on that pool table.
Right.
Why did you feel it's important to show up tonight for this end of year celebration?
Well, we're African people and conscious of who we are. And I think you and I feel the same way. The relationship we have with Kabina and other Africans who have embraced us and embraced you so well that they gave you a name.
Yeah.
I've yet to get a name.
Muse Kalawale.
Yeah, but I am so honored to be embraced by our own people. And I feel honored too that we embrace them the same way. Because you and I both got that recognition also of what we do to help Africans when they come here.
Yeah, but they've given you some different awards over the years, though. Like
They gave me one called the brother who helps Africans as they
assimilation,
blend into society.
yeah,
that kind
assimilation,
assimilation award.
diaspora kind of thing.
Diaspora award.
Yeah.
That's what it was called.
Yeah, that's a high honor. I got that the 1 year, and then
Right.
later on they made me out of
Right.
a African elder, and changed my whole life, made me famous.
Then I'm trying to get this organization involved with the state organization of Florida African American Student Association. We're the only state that has a statewide organization that's 50 years old that provides leadership training to students. We had a conference a month ago. I was the guest speaker.
Okay.
In fact, I did such a good job, I'm going to be the speaker in the spring as well.
Well, people are really going to be treated to something special. Are you looking forward to hearing Yahida speak tonight?
Oh, yes, I am. Dr. Yahida,
Vasquez.
she's quite a case. I like the things she's done. She went to Africa and created
Many
a clinic
times.
there. She created a clinic here, and then she talks about her own experience climbing up to be where she is.
Fascinating
there was a time
story.
when that door didn't look so good.
Yeah, fascinating story.
Yes, it
One
is.
time she was even homeless, coming over here from the Dominican, and even in the Dominican, she
Right.
was in bad situation. But she went on to become what she is today,
Dr.
and
Yahida.
and we're so proud of her, and
Yes, we
can't
are.
wait to get her here in these chairs later on.
Right.
We're gonna wrap it up with the professor, and we'll be right back here at the African Coalition annual holiday party. Remember, Miami may have the oranges, but the African Coalition of Southwest Florida has got the
Juice.
We'll see you. Hey.